Activision devs do not play their own game. It's not your dad doesn't support you.
You should know, you worked at a coffee shop, you stupid bitch.
My name is Casey, and absolutely not fucking Tanner, because my parents don't hate me that much.
Hey, did they have just 8 patches lined up, but they just didn't release them because they were on break? No, you moron kids.
Then we'll, of course, get into it. Change your fucking name and get scammed. He's feeling under the weather.
I probably won't say another word until Stay Humble, so have a good pod, Raz. I'll be here listening.
Got it. We are live, boys and girls. Welcome to the Dropshot Call of Duty podcast, episode number 200, and also adding 10, and then also adding 8, and then subtracting 1, which is, of course, 217. Don't know why I did that. Welcome to the show, a Call of Duty podcast, the Dropshot. I don't know what I've said so far. I'm in a fugue state, really. My name is Casey, also known as Razinon. I am joined by, hopefully, a more lucid co-host. Wearing the same hat as always, by the way. My good friend Tanner. How's it going,
Why do you say that?
Because it's the same hat you always wear.
That's insane that you said that, because this is literally a brand new hat I just put on for the first time before this.
That's fake news.
I've never put this hat on. It's brand new.
You're just banking on our, literally, tens of thousands of listeners.
I have the tag for it. Here's this part of it.
Watch the video.
Here's that part that was
version of the broadcast to not look.
And here's the.
Because you're lying. Oh
here's
wow,
the
some
other
cardboard.
shit.
That's crazy.
Here's the other shit from
Holy
it.
shit, man.
The Lawless Trucker. That's what it's
Change
called.
it, by the way. Where did you buy
You're
this
saying
hat?
change it as you're putting on a fucking gold chain around your neck. Got
It's
it.
a family heirloom, okay?
Fuck your family.
Well. Where do you buy a Lawless Trucker hat? And more importantly, why?
Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yep.
Okay, and got it. All right, welcome to the show. Reminder, if you're new here, if you're a new listener, I timestamp the episodes so you guys can go into the video description if you're on YouTube and you're new, or in the show notes on your podcast app of choice. If you're listening on an app, and skip to whatever the fuck you want. So just a little PSA for you. What does PSA stand for? Here's a pop quiz, Tanner.
Are you serious?
Do you know?
Public service announcement.
Oh, wow.
Do people actually not know what PSA means? There's a PSA. It means public service announcement. Yeah.
That is what it means, though. Yeah. It's a public service announcement. So today, we are not talking about public service announcements, although we have some. We are talking about, in fact, Call of Duty. And what a time to be a Call of Duty player, I must say, unironically. I don't think I've enjoyed Warzone more ever than I've been enjoying it since Season 2 Reloaded. Maybe there was a time, but I can't remember it. Because holy fuck, am I having a blast, dude. I'm just blasting off like Jimmy Neutron in the fun department. Meta's actually pretty solid, albeit boring. And the increased health is just so big, and it's just compounding little changes on top of other ones. Although, to be fair, more health is a pretty big change. But anyways, we got a lot to talk about today. And before we do that, a couple of announcements. First of all, welcome, most importantly, to our new patrons. We had a couple gold patrons. We've got Blake W, who has an avatar that I can barely see. It looks like he is a man with long hair and glasses, and he's taking a selfie with his sister. That's the vibe. That's what I'm getting from the 5 pixels that Patreon allows for an avatar.
Sisters?
That's what I suspect is going on there. So Blake W, welcome aboard, King. Much appreciated. Say hi to your sister for me. Also, let her know at
maybe that's
Razinon on
Blakers.
Twitter.
It could be
It's
Blakers.
possible.
Blakers, is that you? Is that your sister, girlfriend, significant other, wife? It's his wife, yeah. So that's fucked up. So you call his wife his sister.
Hey, by the way, I figured it was your fucking wife. Look at the body language. I was making a joke.
No,
I was
clip that and ship
at
that.
you.
Someone save that clip for a couple years from now.
I was going to call you a virgin, but that's TOS. It would have been a joke anyway. Anyways, Blake, welcome, bud. Much appreciated. Welcome aboard. Also, we got another you and your sister. Welcome to our other new gold patron, Spencer C. Now, Tanner and I were having a discussion before we went live about what the ever-living fuck is going on in this avatar. So it looks to me like a promotional, unironically, it looks like the promotional picture for the Academy Award-winning film Brokeback Mountain. And again, not many pixels to work with.
Yeah, I'm not quite figuring it out there, Spence. Can't figure it out, bud.
It does look like two gay men, shirtless, with jeans on, caressing each other.
So you're thinking shirtless, huh? See, I'm thinking they have. Oh, when I zoom in, it looks
they
shirtless.
Don't have shirts to me. Maybe I'm bugging. I don't know.
Those are two men hugging with no shirts on. Looks like they have like a white headband on. Maybe he does those bullshit races that Chads do. What are they called? Like those Iron Man races where they run through mud. They like
Mud Runner.
Oh, there's a name for those. They're,
Tough
of course,
Mudders?
really popular in Southern California with all like the hipsters and CrossFitters.
Tough Mudder?
Fuck, what are they called?
No? Iron Man?
Man, no.
Triathlon?
No. It's some stupid dog shit name. Anyways, maybe it's that. They just got done doing one of those runs and they're hugging because they're happy. I don't know. Regardless, it's Spartan Race, yes.
Oh, Spartan Race.
It looks like they just got done doing a Spartan Race. They're all muddy, they're hugging, they're all lubed up.
It's certainly possible. There's a lot to discover in that avatar, and there's absolutely a story behind it. And I don't know what the story is, but I'm sure it's great. Looks like you're having a good time, and we support that. What I don't support is your last name, though. I hate it. I don't know if it's real. Spencer C.
That can't be real, no.
It seems unreal. So, Spencer, legally change your last name, but also welcome aboard, buddy. Our new gold patron. Much appreciated. We also got an upgrader, Dave. Just Dave. Upgrading to fucking platinum. Let's absolutely fucking go.
They're
Dave,
Canadian, huh? Too many Canadians.
getting 2 extra bonus episodes per month. He is, in fact, Canadian. Not much to do up there, except drink and be, well, have your civil liberties encroached upon daily. So it makes sense that you would upgrade and want more bonus episodes, like Dave does, getting 2 extra by upgrading to platinum. Dave, thanks, King. Appreciate it. And that's a fine name. Keep it. And now some dog shit names, but most importantly, welcome to some fire upgraders, some absolute kings, getting 7 bonus episodes per month at patreon.com/thedropshot. Mr. Yeet Cannon, change it. Absolutely, dude. Upgrading to Damascus. Thanks, buddy. Because you're a Damascus patron, I'll allow you to keep that name. But you have to be Damascus to have a name that insane, I suspect. And then also, friend of the pod, listener, upgrader, royalty, sovereign, Mike B, upgrading to fucking Damascus as well. Mike and Mr. Yeet Cannon, thanks, boys. Much appreciated. Patreon.com/thedropshot is the best way to support the program. 7 bonus episodes per month, monthly hangouts, and more. Keep the website for details. Go to thedropshot.com. We have links to everything there, including the Patreon. Or you can go straight to patreon.com/thedropshot. But that is, once again, the best way for you to support the show, and it's the best way for us for you to support the show. Because that's where we offer all of our bonus shit. So much appreciated to all of you for signing up. We hope you enjoy. And speaking of the Patreon, we got real active this week, didn't we, Tanner? Real active.
Super active, yeah. Super
Omega active. Yep. Tanner and I, like usual, were waiting until the big content update of the month, which is never conveniently, by the way, on like the 5th of the month. Just never happens.
Since Caldera came out, they're always like the last week or 2 of the month, yeah. It's
splendid for us, right? So it'll be on the 29th, a new game will come out. They'll do a surprise remaster. And then they'll also drop 2 new Warzone maps. And then we are sitting on our hands with our dicks in our mouths, right? Trying to figure out when we should record Patreon episodes, because we try to do them after the latest monthly big content drop. And that is what happened for the month of March. We waited till Season 2 Reloaded came out to finish our Patreon recordings, and therefore it was real backloaded this month. We had 3 come out in the last 3 days. However, I would say it's for the best, because our last 3 Patreon episodes were fucking fire, dude. They're all a blur, and I don't remember what 2 of them were.
I don't remember any of them, yeah, but I know they were good, yeah.
Yeah, but I know they were excellent. I enjoyed recording them. The latest one was a Platinum episode, Rebirth Island Revisited, which we had a lot of fun recording. What did you think of that particular episode, Tanner?
Yeah, it's kind of like a... kind of did like a little brainstorm with it, too. He was talking about some different Rebirth things, because we started off playing a lot of Rebirth first couple days of the update to the map, and then they made the Caldera health change, so then we've been back on Caldera, and then that's been super fun. So it's kind of been like a few days pretty much since we had played Rebirth, so we kind of just talked about some things about maybe what's, you know, how the map actually changed, if it really changed how it plays, if it's worth landing on certain things like the weapon blueprints that are spread around now, or like the go to like the vault and do the key card and get specialists, the weapon trade station, stuff like that. So yeah, that was a really good one. One of the other ones we did too was a
Vanguard
Caldera Brainstorm, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, those were the other 2.
No, it was Season 2 Second Impressions and then Warzone Brainstorm.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Okay, got it. Yeah, but anyways, the Warzone Brainstorm 2 was solid. I think that was pretty much Caldera Brainstorm, so that was really good. Enjoyed that as well. Those are always certified bangers, of course. And yeah, those were all really easy episodes to record because we've been playing just a shitload of Warzone last week.
Yeah, they were particularly well informed because we've been absolutely grinding. By the way, Panic Man Walters, I never once fucking said Automaton is meta. How dare you?
Well,
I explicitly ended our segment on the Automaton by saying it's still dog shit and there's no reason to use it. I explicitly remember saying that.
There was with that sniper barrel where the damage doesn't drop off to like fucking 80 meters or something. That kind of makes sense. That's the only reason to run the auto, but people are running it without that barrel. I think that's kind of what we got it to, right?
But even with that barrel, it was worse than many other options. Because
at certain ranges.
And this is what I had been saying, because between 44 and 70 meters, how many fucking AR kills are you getting? It's ridiculous to have an AR that's dog shit from 0 to 44 meters. It's never worth using, even with the fucking sniper barrel. So fuck you, Walt. Damn. Listen more carefully, okay? And don't libel me on this broadcast, please, and thank you. Don't use the Automaton. If you do want to know what guns you should use, though, the last 3 Patreon episodes are really good because they did have their own, obviously, topics broadly attached to them. So we did like a Warzone or Caldera Brainstorm, Rebirth Second Impressions / Brainstorm, and then just the second impressions of the whole patch in general. And we stayed loosely attached to those, but a big through line for all 3 of them has been weapon metas and what is shaping up to be quite good with the health change. And it caused us to look a lot at sim.gg, which is like data mined weapon stats, super accurate, and kind of revisit what we think meta weapons are in Warzone right now. And the biggest sleeper for me that I've been using, and I've used it even more since that Rebirth episode when I mentioned it first, the QBZ, which is a Cold War AR, bullpup assault rifle. It
bullpupper
has fairly little recoil. It's as easy to control as like an XM4, I would say. And its first damage range is up to 44 meters, which is longer than every other meta AR. And the downside is its headshot multiplier is dog shit. But still fairly worth running. And I've been using it in Warzone, and I've been doing really well, really fucking well with it. So that's worth a shot. But if you wanted to hear more on that and other things, once again, patreon.com/thedropshot. Our last 3 episodes are now live for the month of March, and I really, really, really enjoyed them. So those are up. Other than that, Tanner, any announcements from you about the podcast?
No.
Got it. If you're listening for the jingle, here it is.
There it is. It's already there. Ozzy, thank you very much for 20 months in a row. Tier 2. Ozzy, hope you're still here. Thank you very much, dude. Good to see you. Appreciate it, as always. Got it, indeed. And Chewats, Prime Reno for a year with a message attached that says, I eat poop. You must if you listen to this podcast. Yeah, there's something wrong with you, and that's your thing.
That's the typical,
you eat
typical
poop. Yeah,
Dropshot listener behavior for sure.
Poop eaters here. Yeah, Chewats, thank you very much, dude. Thanks for taking advantage of that Prime.
Prime Reno. So, all right, now, first, we're gonna normally we'd get into playlist updates. But there really haven't been any since last week, as far as I know.
There's one in Warzone, just Clash is gone and Plunder's in now, or something. But it's like nothing else changed.
Nothing big, nothing crazy. The new Rebirth mode is not in yet, so that's just one thing I probably would mention there that isn't the case. So, first there was a patch today, in fact, for Vanguard. Pretty little baby patch, it appears. A couple of changes to arms race. Ooh, okay. Let's see if any of these are good. The escort and eliminate UI elements will now properly update during the sudden death phase of a match. Okay. I don't know what this means. I didn't notice any UI issues during sudden death, and we played quite a bit of arms race, so cool.
Well, it's an easy UI update they can change and put in patch notes to make it look like they're making changes to their video games. That's why it's there, and that's why they did it. Next.
Exactly. Correct. Yes, that is, of course, true. Addressed an exploit. Addressed an issue that caused buys to not subtract from the player's cash. Players will no longer have an invisible weapon.
Wait, what is fixed? Address an exploit that allowed players to become invulnerable after dying to fall damage? The fuck does that mean?
I died to a lot of fall damage. I was never invulnerable, so.
I died jumping off a 2-foot ledge every game, yeah.
Which we did talk about on patreon.com/dropshot, yeah. So no good changes. So arms race is still, my opinion on it is still the same. Let's see. Some weapon balancing. Some changes to the coup, which I'm not going to read because the coup is fairly balanced in that game. Armaguerra was not nerfed. Address an issue that prevents progression. Cool.
Release another gun with incomplete camos. Got it.
Ooh, here we go. Whitley. 50 cal BMG 150 round box mag, which is a very popular mag on the Whitley. Decreased damage bonus, 32% less damage bonus. Good. This probably equates to 1 or 2 more bullets to kill when you're using those rounds, which this desperately needed. So this is actually a good change to a very broken, overpowered gun, the Whitley. So that's good. Some more sniper adjustments, don't care. And that's about it. Nothing else worth covering as far as I can see, unless there's anything you want to add, Tanner.
No. Oh, they buffed the machine pistol, decreased recoil and firing. Cool. The recoil needed to be decreased on the machine pistol by about 98%. So I hope that's what they did.
Yeah, that's kind of a ridiculous gun.
Yeah. It's insane, by the way, that's still ground loot in Warzone, and it is the most uncontrollable weapon ever in the history of Warzone. Easily. And it's ground loot everywhere. It's just insane to me, man. That's one thing bad about Warzone right now is how terrible the ground loot is. And the gulag weapons.
Is dog shit.
It's really bad. If the ground loot, I mean, it doesn't matter as much right now. This is like what we had said early on with the loadout changes, is that they didn't let us buy loadouts and the ground loot they picked was horrible. It's like, imagine dealing with this ground loot right now if we couldn't buy loadouts. The game would be terrible. Holy shit, man. Just terrible. So thank God they reverted the loadout shit.
Yeah, true. Very, very, very true. So another patch that is pretty light in the ass in terms of changes that needed to happen. Whitley nerf is the one like good thing they did, and some bug fixes are always nice, but we still need a Wellgun nerf, we still need an Armaguerra nerf for Vanguard multiplayer, and we still need to remove all shotguns. So still lots of progress to be made that will of course never come. And now while we're on the topic of Vanguard patches, there was another one on the 25th of March that added an experimental playlist. So this is, once again, another thing. This is going to be a through line for this episode. A lot of the shit we're going to talk about today, we have already talked about on Patreon, which normally doesn't happen, but it's kind of the way things shaped up this month. But on March 25th, for Vanguard, there was an experimental playlist added. And they wrote a lot about it. I'm going to sum it up. It is the same as the Shipment DOS House Dome playlist that is currently in Vanguard, where you can get one of those 3 maps, TDM, Kill Confirm, Dom, or Hardpoint. And the only difference, the experimental part, is that they are trying to address spawns and make the spawns better so that you get spawn trapped less often and you spawn inside people's asses less often. So when we talked about this, one of the things we said was they've done 20 spawn adjustments without an experimental playlist before. So why did this need its own experimental playlist? Doesn't make any sense. But then also, the existence of an experimental playlist, I think, is a good thing, because if they wanted to experiment with other more radical things, it would be cool to have a testing ground for that, and an experimental playlist would be the way to do it. And some ideas we came up with, specifically on the spawn trapping issue, would be like, maybe in the experimental playlist, if you spawn at these points, you spawn while crouched, so that you have some cover. So for example, Shipment Blitz, if you spawn behind the car, instead of standing up, you're crouched, so you have some cover on that car. And that could help the spawn raping that could happen. Or another one, spawn protection, and also you do spawn protection damage to other players. So if I spawn in a terrible spot and I'm getting shot right when I spawn, I'm taking very little damage. But also, if I spawn directly behind someone, instead of getting a free kill, I'm doing very little damage for the same length of time that I have spawn protection myself. These would be some cool fucking ideas that they could add to an experimental playlist that I think would warrant their own playlist, unlike changing the spawn logic does not warrant its own playlist. I think it's weird. I don't think they needed its own thing for that. But the existence of the playlist, I think, is fairly cool. What was your experience, first of all, with the experimental playlist? Were the spawns better, Tanner?
A little bit better. Didn't feel that much different, in my opinion. Some of the spawns, though, you still got bad shit spawns where you spawned with other players, but it seemed to happen less often, I guess. They've also made more tweaks to this since that update. I think they tweaked it a couple days ago, and they said, jump back in again, let us know how it is. So it's for sure better, but yeah, I mean, if Sledgehammer was to introduce spawn protection to Vanguard, I'm sure it would take them, 9 months to figure that out and be able to patch that in, so I don't know. I mean, they need to experiment with making a good video game to start with, I think, and then we can go from there. But, you know, this experimental playlist, it is a good idea. But it's like when it comes to spawns, I just don't... I guess it's got to be something in, like, the development side of the game. But I just don't understand why they couldn't have just essentially made these changes to the main lobbies. I don't know, because
exactly.
It's like they've tweaked the spawn logic supposedly every single update ever since the game launched, and they still don't feel... I mean, they're better than they were on launch, but they still don't feel amazing, so not sure why they had to make a whole experimental playlist. I don't know how that works, but whatever. It's cool they're doing it, and definitely slightly better.
Yeah. And then... that was pretty much it for that patch. They also reverted the unintentional increase to cruise speed of the UAV and counter UAV as well. And that is that. So, couple little patches for Vanguard, not too much. Let's see here. On a better note, Sledgehammer has also increased weapon XP earn rate by 20% in Vanguard permanently. So this isn't a 20% XP event. It's just you will always get 20% more weapon XP than you used to in Vanguard, which is good. Because Tanner made this point when we were talking about this on Patreon at patreon.com/thedropshot. The best way to level Vanguard guns prior to this update, and maybe even still, but definitely prior to this update, was to play Warzone, which is absurd. The fastest way to level a gun's levels, to level up a gun, should be in that game. But that was simply not the case before this update. Do you think it's faster now to level a gun in like Vanguard multi?
No.
Still not?
Probably not. There's double XP on Rebirth, and you pop a double XP token as well, and it does that weird stack where it's like 3 times or 3.5 times XP. It's not actually like doubling it again. And if you can stay alive and do supply runs,
exactly,
and just do them over and over again, because you get a supply run, you run like 30 meters, tap the buy station, grab another one. If you can do that like 6-8 times a game, your gun's like halfway leveled up. Actually, it's an insane bonus. So, but it's nice that they changed this in Vanguard. It was definitely needed. When double XP was going last weekend, I believe it was, and we were playing Vanguard, that they were going up quick. I maxed that Armaguerra very, very fast. So
yeah,
it's definitely noticeable on top of the double XP especially. So glad to have this. I just wished, as I already said this on the Patreon, it's like they should have literally done this the first week the game was out when everyone was begging for them to do it, because they're like, dude, it takes way too long to level up these guns. Like, we want to get as many guns leveled as we can before Caldera comes out and before the seamless transition, and they just ignored everything then and didn't do it. And now that the game's entirely just dead, then they decide, oh, maybe let's increase it 20%. Maybe people will come back, but it's just too late to bring players back with such a small thing that doesn't matter a whole lot anymore. Because if people wanted to level up guns, they've just already done it at this point. It'll be good for future guns going forward, but,
True. Yeah. The contract bonus really is what makes Warzone so good for leveling weapons. Because, like, you get a contract bonus where you get like a multiplier of how much money you get. So if you do one supply run, let's say you get 1,000. If you do a second supply run, you get like 1,200. And then a third, you get like 1,800 for cash. And I think it works that way for weapon XP too. So it's like, in addition to just getting kills and shooting your gun, on top of that, it's really hard to compete with the weapon XP potential in Warzone. With that said, though, I'm still glad for this, because even if it's slightly slower to play fucking Shipment 24/7 to level your gun than Plunder, I'd still rather play Shipment. So I'm still glad this 20% is in. It's not a bad thing, but it is too little too late for sure. So also in Vanguard, new ranked play updates are now live. This was 3 days ago, the 28th. Players should now earn more SR. I always forget what the skill rating after wins, and lose less skill rating after losses. That's okay. Something. Reduction to the impact that match performance has. Oh, that's really bad. On the amount of SR won or lost. So winning and losing matters more now. Well, winning matters more now, losing matters less now, and your own performance matters less now as well. So if you do really well and you lose, you're still probably going to lose rating overall, because your personal performance has less of an impact on your personal skill rating now, which is pretty dumb. I don't know how much the reduction was, but wins and losses should be the biggest factor, obviously, but I think your personal performance should be a fairly big factor as well. It's weird that they're reducing it. And I don't really understand the impetus for this change. And then they also say more consistent skill rating gains and losses overall.
A lot of words
which makes
there.
Sense. Yeah, well, it makes sense. If you reduce the impact of match performance, then the biggest factor is just going to be whether you won or lost.
Yeah.
So it's going to be more consistent, So that's kind of dumb. I don't know. But whatever. There you go. If winning and losing is the most important thing still, then it's probably fine. Now, let's get into Warzone. There were some big new Warzone changes made, even after Season 2 Reloaded, that we're going to talk about. And these changes did come to the game slightly before they were announced, but they've since been codified, written into patch notes. Do you want to talk the tweet first, or do you want to talk the notes first, Tanner?
Let's just talk through the actual perk changes first from the notes.
Okay, so
notes.
We've got a patch. This was on March 28th, and it is perk adjustments mainly. So here's what they said. We see this chapter of Warzone as an ever-evolving and layered gameplay space where we want both counterplay and interplay between systems to be viable. We want to provide players with a variety of tools to create even more interesting stories or big brain plays that take advantage of systems in ways that we as developers never thought possible. If you played, you would think of things. Perks are going to make for a significant part of the push towards this objective. The changes observed today represent a glimpse of what is to come in Season 3. So they're already hinting at more perk changes coming with Season 3. Maybe new perks coming with Season 3 too. I would be very unsurprised if we got some new perks when Season 3 comes out as well. Maybe some new perks that they plan on adding to Warzone 2 that they want to test now. What are your thoughts? You know, that's possible.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens in Season 3, but mark my words now. If we get new perks at any time during Warzone 1, prior to Warzone 2 coming out, and people in general enjoy the perks, they will be in Warzone 2.
Oh, 100%.
Duh. Yeah, duh. So if we get some cool perks in Season 3 that people seem to like and are fairly well balanced, that means they're coming to Warzone 2. So
I feel like more than anything, we're going to get perk changes than whole new perks, because we have plenty of perks right now. They just need to make them a lot better. And they're all like, I feel like they're able to make changes to the current perks and make them so they're actually valuable without just adding a bunch of new perks in and then making those ones even more useless. So I feel like we're honestly going to see more of that than anything. I don't know if we'll ever see any more new perks in Warzone.
I think I agree with you, to be honest. There's so much room for improvement with a lot of the currently completely unused perks.
Yeah.
That I think they'll continue just tweaking those.
Or if they're going to add new perks, then just go back and remove certain perks, you know, just get rid of some of them that are just no one uses ever. So
exactly. Yeah. So, for now, however, they have changed some perks. Let's get into those first. Scavenger. Scavenger is a blue perk. You kill someone, you pick up ammo. The pouch will now have a cyan outline for those with Scavenger equipped. So the way Scavenger works is if I have Scavenger and I kill you, on your body, there will be a little blue knapsack for 20 seconds. And if I run over it, it'll give me ammo. And I don't know if it gives you tacticals or lethals, but it definitely gives you ammo. Whatever ammo you're using. And now it will have a cyan outline, so you'll see it more easily with Scavenger equipped in Warzone. It will also remain on the ground for 60 seconds instead of just 20 seconds. So I'll have 60 seconds to run over your body and get that little pouch instead of 20. Additionally, the pouch now gives +1 armor plate. So currently in Warzone, if you kill someone, they are guaranteed to drop 1 plate, even if they had 0 on them. And if you have Scavenger, they will be guaranteed to drop 2 plates. That is Scavenger in Warzone. What are your thoughts, Tanner? Worth running?
No. Terrible perk.
Clearly.
Still. This doesn't change anything. Yeah, there's no reason to run Scavenger ever still. At all. Unless it's dropping, you know, a specialist token in every single bag, or a guaranteed kill streak, which we had talked about on the Patreon, stuff like that, or items that the person didn't even have, but there's a low chance of it spawning, like a UAV or something, then there may be a case for running Scavenger, but absolutely not. Otherwise, I don't just need more ammo and maybe an extra plate. No, that's not worth taking up the entire blue perk for at all.
Correct. So don't run Scavenger, but they have made it better. So there you go. Not much to talk about there. More importantly, Restock, which is a red perk. Recharge time reduced from 50 seconds to 25 seconds. So before, if you throw a grenade, you have 50 seconds before you get another one. Now it's halved, 25 seconds, which is fucking fast, by the way. That's real quick. The only thing that does not have a 25-second recharge timer is the stim shot, which is a 60-second timer. So if you're running stims and thermites, for example, your stims will regen over a minute, your thermites over 25 seconds. Everything's 25 except for stims. That is a fairly big change. I would say it's a net nerf, because I would much rather have my stims regenning every 50 seconds than my lethals regenning every 25, especially on Caldera, where I'm just not really getting much utility out of lethals regardless. With that said, it's still not a complete nerf, and getting a new lethal every 25 seconds is fucking insane. Now, you could argue you're also getting a stun every 25 seconds if you're running a stun or a gas grenade, but don't. Stims are easily the best. Stims are the best gun in the Warzone right now.
Yeah.
I mean, they're so fucking good. It's the best item in a loadout you could have is a stim. And putting Restock on top of it is just duh, which we'll get into. But what are your thoughts on this change? Did you notice it that much?
Yeah, I mean, I've been running pretty much only stims. It's definitely nice to have thermites every 25 seconds, though. Like, you're pretty much... If you're going up in a quad fight, you're like guaranteed to have 2 lethals every single time to throw into a building if they're held up or something. And then, you know, once that fight's done, one of them has already regened if another team starts pushing. So they're insane to have, like, pushing buildings now. Every single time I toss thermites upstairs because usually someone else is in the front. So one of the brainless chimps is pushing in first, and I chuck a thermite upstairs, see if I hit anyone, throw one downstairs because I know, oh, I'll have one of these back in 25 seconds. Or as soon as we kill these guys and loot the bodies, I'll have 2 of them again. So this is solid. Stims, I believe, couldn't be every 50 seconds because according to the Raven creative director Ted, he said on Twitter the way it would have worked is you would have literally constantly been able to stay in the gas if they were set at 50 seconds, which is why they're 60 now.
I see.
Because it was probably something with if you had a gas mask and then restock stims, you could inevitably stay in there, or for a certain amount of time, you know, maybe minutes or something.
For too long, yeah.
It's for entirely too long. So obviously they did test that, and so 60 seconds is the spot where you will still die in gas before they restock, but it's still very solid. I've been running nothing but stims. I have no interest in changing. You know, it would be cool to try like restock 25-second snapshots, 25-second stuns out, but fuck, man, it is hard to drop stims until or if these things are nerfed. I've survived so many unnecessary gunfights the last few days only because I had stims. I mean, it's just constantly get low health, pop it, run around a building, run through a door, do my CDL ranked play strat, lay prone. The guy comes in looking for me, and I'm just laying prone, shooting him. But I'm, you know, and I have no plates on, and I still get the kill because you can get away from them, catch them off guard, make really fun plays. They're just a blast to use, frankly, and I absolutely love them.
Yep.
So,
yeah.
But yeah, we had an instance where we were 2v2, and these guys had constant snapshots. I was just being snapshotted every fucking 25 seconds. We ended up winning that game. It was rather annoying, and that is very, very strong to have, but stims ultimately are going to end up saving your life more than snapshots. Well, snapshots can get you kills and save your life, but stims are going to keep you alive definitely for much longer and put you in situations where you can outplay other people.
Yep. And yeah, that we told that snapshotter story on Patreon. And that was a game where we would have gotten 6th place were it not for having stims. But then stims allowed us to get out of that building, get to a safe area only because of stims, and then we won because we're better than them.
We're a lot better, yeah.
Because one thing to keep in mind, when you add 50 health to your health pool, and the stim shot heals you all of your health over X amount of seconds, whatever, Then adding 50 health means stims heal for 50 more health now, which means they've been massively buffed. That is a 50% increase, or 33, but depending on how you want to do it. That's giant. Stims are the only tactical you should be running, whether or not you're running restock. Stims are insane right now, and you can really tank some damage. If you're full plated and you pre-stim a fight, you can take so many fucking bullets.
Yeah.
Because your stim will continue to heal you 150 health in the time you're being shot, so long as it doesn't reach 0 before you can regen a tick. Which happens a lot. I've done it, and I've seen it done to me. There were people survive shit they never would have survived before because of the extra health and they had stim. So definitely run stims. But restock change, yeah, I would say not very noticeable, the change, honestly. And I think that's my fault. I need to be spamming my lethals more now.
Oh, absolutely.
I just need to get in the habit of just wasting them. 25 seconds is so fast. Like, just use both of them every single gunfight I get into. Why not? If I have restock. So once I get in that habit, this is going to be noticeable. Once other people get in this habit, I still don't think it's going to be that bad, because it sounds like cancer lethal spam. But Caldera is so big that it's not going to matter super often. You just need to be worried if you're in buildings a lot, because then this will matter a lot. Because if you get pushed by 4 people, they're going to have 8 lethals. They will have them back. They didn't throw them 25 seconds ago. Trust me. So, something to keep in mind. But yeah, big change to restock. EOD. EOD will, which is a blue perk, will reduce damage or cap the damage, whichever is higher. Raised cap on explosive damage from 80 to 200. And damage reduction from 35 to 45%. So basically what this means is, prior to this change, if you received 80 or more damage and you had EOD, you would take 35% of 80 less damage than before, or than you would without EOD, which is not a very big number. But now you will take 45% less damage of up to 200 explosive damage if you have EOD. So that's a very big EOD buff. And that makes EOD a fairly competitive blue perk now in Warzone. Did this buff need to happen? I don't know if it needed it, but I think it's fine. I'm not mad about it. I don't have too much experience either using EOD myself or being countered by it. So I don't know if it needed to happen, but they did buff a lot of the lethals a while ago. So bringing EOD more in line with that, I think, is probably fine. And what I would say about EOD is that this is not a perk that is worth running on Caldera, because you're not going to take much explosive damage on Caldera regardless. But on Rebirth Island, it might be worth using, because I get exploded on a lot more on Rebirth than I do in Caldera. And this is quite a big buff to EOD. What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I'm with you. It is a solid buff. Kind of almost doesn't make sense, though, because they say, like, with the adjustment to lethals dealing more damage in Season 1, we wanted to align that. So it's like, why did we even make those changes, then, to the lethals, if you're just going to then change EOD to just be even better and, I don't know, directly counter that like how it used to be? I don't know, but also, yeah, I don't see many reason to run EOD on Caldera. I feel like you needed it a lot more in Verdansk. You'd be in buildings, people would be pushing you, throwing semtexes in the windows, stuff like that. You do see quite a few launchers every few lobbies in Caldera. It's kind of odd, actually, but you know, realistically, do I want an entire perk dedicated just to have less damage if someone happens to have a launcher? No, probably not. So EOD is definitely better now, obviously, but still not my first choice. There will be more consideration there if Combat Scout is ever nerfed and I don't have to run Cold-Blooded. Then I'll, you know, maybe go back to it, but currently I'm still going to be on Cold-Blooded, no matter the change there.
Yes, exactly. and this is kind of the rock, paper, scissors game theory kind of interactions between perks that take place. It's like I'm never running cold-blooded if people aren't running Combat Scout, obviously. But since so many people are running Combat Scout because it's so good on this map, I'm kind of forced to use cold-blooded. And I think it is going to save your life, especially on Caldera, way more than EOD will.
Yeah.
On average. And therefore, I think it's still not worth running on Caldera. But on Rebirth, way fewer people run Combat Scout. So you have a free slot. And then it becomes EOD or like Quick Fix. And then EOD might be a good contender. But wait, there was a change to Quick Fix. So Quick Fix, the way it used to work is that if you full kill someone, your health starts regenerating immediately. No faster than a normal regen, but it stops the timer, the delay, and it will immediately start regenning you once you get a full kill. Now, in addition to that, inserting an armor plate will now begin regenerating health as well. So once the plate is in, you'll immediately start regenerating health, which makes Quick Fix a quite more attractive option, and it definitely makes it better because, you know, like Quick Fix, some people used to run it on Rebirth a lot, but I always thought it was kind of silly because you have to get a full kill, and usually by then you're probably fine anyway for the health regen to take place. But now, in addition, inserting a plate starts regenerating your health. That makes it a lot more attractive. Is it worth running on Caldera? I would say probably not. I tried running Quick Fix on Caldera for a full game. I think we won it, in fact. So I was in it for a while, and I didn't get a benefit from Quick Fix at all. 0 times. There were 0 times when my health started regenning than it otherwise would have. Because stims are so good that I'm always running stims. And since I'm running restock, or probably even if I wasn't running restock, I'd have a stim at every time anyway. And if I need to heal, it's going to still be way faster for me to bang a stim than to finish inserting 1 plate to get a health regen. Therefore, it's not worth running, in my view, on Caldera. On Rebirth, however, there might be an argument for Quick Fix, because again, you don't need to run cold-blooded. So then it's like, do you run Quick Fix or EOD? Good question. I'd have to play some more Rebirth and see how many times I'm getting exploded on. But if it's not often, Quick Fix would just be better. And then there was another question raised, which we talked about on our latest Patreon episode, of Quick Fix plus Tempered, where you only have to insert 2 plates to be fully plated. That sounds like a really attractive combo. But as it stands on Caldera, it's not worth it, in my view. Especially if you're running stims, which you, of course, should be, because it's the best item in your entire loadout. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree with you. There's no reason to run this again on Caldera, but on Rebirth, when you're getting into a constant close-range engagements, I do think it has its place. Also, if you're running it and you think about it, and you're probably running throwing knives because you're on Rebirth, you can start regenning health more often and quicker, because like usually now if like you're 1v2 or 1v3, you'll get 2 or 3 downs and then you'll start throwing knifing them. But if you can get that throwing knife off and you're running Quick Fix, even that, down 1 person, get a throwing knife, maybe you're 1 shot, you're already going to start regenning from that. Then you can, if you get shot again, you can keep running and then plate up and then start regenning from that. So there's a lot of outplay potential you can do. And when it does come to Rebirth, I don't think you need cold-blooded as much, because most of the buildings you can't even wall bang anyways, not like the little shacks and stuff on Caldera. So it gives you an advantage of people running Combat Scout from them just not knowing which direction you're going. But I don't seem to run into too many people running Combat Scout on
I think Amped is just so good on Rebirth.
Yeah, because you want to have the ability to switch weapons fast again, because all the close range quick engagements. So Quick Fix probably really is on Rebirth just the best blue perk to run. I haven't tried it myself yet since this change on Rebirth, but next time I play Rebirth, I'm definitely going to be doing that and see if I notice a difference. Yeah. Even if you're not noticing a difference every game, it's like, well, would you have noticed a difference running EOD or cold-blooded that same game anyways? Exactly. Probably not. Maybe Quick Fix will save you once every couple games on Rebirth, but that may just be worth it for the blue category because there's nothing else there to run.
Exactly. Yes. And what Tanner and I had kind of theory crafted about what would make quick fix really attractive even on Caldera is instead of getting a full kill starts your regen, getting a down starts your regen. That would make this an attractive perk. I don't know if that would be overpowered. I still think I would, even if that were true, I think I would still run Cold-Blooded on Caldera.
I don't. If getting a down starts the regen, I feel like that would make me switch to quick fix. That would. I think that'd be borderline making the perk too good.
It would make a blue perk too good, honestly. Yeah, because all the blue perks are so shit. That would be so much better. That yeah, maybe you're right actually. But fuck, it's hard. I don't know. But that was something we thought about. That could be cool. But as it stands, that's not how it works. But still, quick fix is a genuinely attractive option, especially for Rebirth now. And then last and most importantly, the change we've all been waiting for. Finally, man. Finally, man. Ghost. The Ghost stealth effect will now only apply if the player is fucking moving, man. Holy shit. Ghost nerfed. Finally. Let's absolutely fucking go.
Yeah.
Once again, the Ghost stealth effect will now only apply if the player is moving. So if you yourself are running Ghost, you can tell whether it's active or not by looking at your minimap. In your minimap, you're at the center, your little triangle. And if you have Ghost equipped and you're moving, your triangle will become more transparent. That will indicate that you are currently ghosted. And if you stop moving, you'll notice it become less transparent. And therefore, even though you're running Ghost, you've been standing still too long, it's not working for you at that time. And that is just a gigantic, massive change that I really, really enjoy. Also, since they raised the price of UAV from 4,000 to 6,000, there is significantly less UAV spam in Warzone now than there used to be on Verdansk. There's also less money, so that's another reason too. So not having Ghost anymore is not as bad as it used to be. And also, no one runs silencers on their SMGs anymore either. So Ghost has been steadily becoming less and less necessary. And I think this is really the nail in the coffin for Caldera and Rebirth Island, making Ghost simply not worth running anymore, especially while stims are so good and you can restock them.
Yes.
I don't think Ghost is worth running anymore, mainly for that reason, but also because of the nerf, of course. And this is a huge, massive change. Many people have been asking for this since day one of Warzone. It makes UAVs better. It makes finishing a big game bounty actually just as good because it was an advance, so it showed ghosted people anyway. But it makes UAVs better. And this is just a really good change that I'm really happy to see. And now there are a couple of options in the red category. Let's say stims get nerfed. Then what do you run? Still restock? How about high alert? That's pretty fucking good. Especially on this map that's so open.
That's what I'm going
to. Bandit runs it too. Yeah, exactly. There are a lot of good options. But what are have you noticed this in Warzone, the effects of this nerf?
So honestly, I don't feel like I see many ghosted people on Caldera. It makes way more sense, but I swear it's the lobby KD breakup that like our lobbies, there's just not as many people running Ghost because they're all 6 KD controller CDL kids that are 16 years old. And so they're all running like restock or high alert, and they've been running that even since all of these changes. Used to pop a UAV on Verdansk and you could see literally no one, but there'd be like 5 teams in that zone. Late game wasn't even worth buying a UAV because everyone had Ghost. But it's like now, I feel like you just don't, you pop a UAV and you see everyone on the radar, and you have been. I don't know if this is also in part because maybe like less people are buying a second loadout, because that second loadout comes so late now. So I'm wondering if like lower skilled players just get their free loadout and then just only have overkill like the entire game too. I'm not sure.
And there's less money, so it's harder to buy one anyway.
Yeah, so I feel like that may be the case because I'm looking at, I haven't looked at Warzone Ranked in a while. I'm looking at the perks. Kind of surprising. Ghost, I don't know how often this is updated or what the parameters are for how long, but it's like Ghost, this was updated on the 29th, so 2 days ago, but I don't know how much time prior this takes into effect. But Ghost was picked 25% of the time, Restock was picked 3% of the time. Wow. Which is just insane, because again, my lobbies do not feel like that whatsoever, man. Same thing with the blue category. Double time is the most picked perk, according to this. Insane to me. Absolutely insane to me. That double time is the #1 blue perk, 40%. Tracker, by the way, picked 15% for the yellow perk. That's, huh? Tracker, really? This just goes to show you that people don't know what to pick, and there are a lot of lobbies out there that we don't play in that are protected lobbies that just use entirely different perks than what we're used to seeing. So I feel like that's what it is. I was even looking at Charlie Intel this morning, their website, and they had this whole article based off of people complaining about the Ghost change, and it was a bunch of Reddit threads and tweets about people bitching that all Warzone is doing now is catering to the sweats, and that they're just ruining the game for the casuals. And now that they ruined Ghost for the casuals, and now they can't protect themselves. Like, well, Ghost still works if you move, buddy. Just move your character. Don't sit in a bush for a minute, and you'll be fine, you know? But it's like there are those lobbies out there that we've just never played in and don't even know exist, but they're out there every single game. So, you know, for me, I don't know. Ghost is just absolutely chalked. I've seriously ran Ghost probably a total of 1 hour in Caldera since the map came out. I've just been on Restock since day one. It's just more fun to use too. And
it is a lot more fun to use.
Yeah, and I'll just continue to run that. So this Ghost change is excellent for those, you know, for certain players that are in our lobbies that we can now destroy. But yeah.
One thing to keep in mind with this change. Very good change. Very good overall. But one thing to keep in mind is that Ghost is still in the game, and it still does work sometimes. And you got to be careful. Because you read this, you realize fewer people are running Ghost now. So then you get a lot more confident in your UAV sweeps. Don't get too confident, because some people are still running fucking Ghost. And this happened to me, Jake, and L once. We were at the drop spot, and it was fairly late game. We bought a UAV. We call it. There's one red dot 40 meters from us. So then me and L are like, oh, great. Well, excuse me. L pushes the guy. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to go help L. Which was fine. That was a fine push. So then I go to like look at the red dot. And it's a full team. The other two are ghosted. And we both die. Because we were expecting one guy. We were very confident it was just one guy. And it was one guy and his two teammates who were ghosted. And we got fucked. So this does help Ghost in one way. In that if you are using it, you are going to be much, and it's active, you will be much more likely to surprise people than you used to be.
Yeah,
because
true.
Like in Verdansk, if I called a UAV and like, you know, whatever, no one showed up around me, I had no confidence in that because everyone ran Ghost in Verdansk and it always worked. So I was like, well, no one's on UAV, but they're probably ghosted. And this would happen all the time, by the way. We would like see the red smoke from a Lodi at train station. We're at Boneyard. We call a UAV. We open our map. We see 4 dots. Then it does another sweep and all the dots are gone. Cool, they're ghosted.
Yeah.
They just got their second loadout. Got it. So just be careful now that people still can be ghosted. And if you do run Ghost and it's active and you hear enemy UAV called, you might be able to catch them off guard because they probably will not expect you. And I'm still going to make this mistake. This is going to happen to me again. That will happen to me again, 100%. So with that said, is it worth running Ghost? I don't think so. Stims are too good. The restock stims is just too strong. And like Dander said, most importantly, real fun. Real fun to just be banging stims and fucking power sliding everywhere.
Breaking cameras, as the kids say.
Yeah. breaking cameras, as the kids say, real fun too. So there's something to keep in mind. So overall, the great perk changes. And again, as they've said, we can expect more in season 3. There was also a patch yesterday with a couple bug fixes. Private matches have been updated to align with public match settings. We'll see. Private matches have literally never once had the same exact performance as public matches ever. For about 18 months, it would be 40% slower to res someone in a private lobby versus a public lobby for no discernible reason.
And you always moved really slow and downed. Weird things.
It was real weird. That is almost certainly still true, but they've said that they made them the same. Doubt it, but there you go. Maybe it's better now. Probably
I know they added like the balloons and stuff to private matches now, which hadn't been there until yesterday. So some things actually got changed and fixed. That's cool.
Some things did get changed, yes. And then some bug fixes. Fixed an issue causing inconsistent operator parachuting functionality. So ostensibly, every operator will now go 6.4 meters per second if they're going straight while parachuting. I think that's what that means. And also their the deploy height should be uniform now. That's what they're referring to there. Let's see. Fixed an issue causing the circle to occasionally move outside of playable space on Caldera. That's true. Let's also add not putting loadout drops outside of the map, which got Tanner and I killed yesterday.
Yep, it landed.
Which was both fun and exciting.
Right on, it was on the western side of the map, like on these rocks, right on the edge of the ocean, which is not a playable space, obviously. And so I started jumping down there thinking like, oh, my loadout's safe, I'll grab it. As soon as I jump down there and I'm standing on the loadout, I have 3 seconds to get out of it or I'm dying. So I'm like, oh, I'm dead. And I don't even get the loadout. I try to turn around and immediately just get out of the zone to stay alive. And I literally, it wouldn't let me mantle or jump back up. So I was just dead. So that loadout was not even accessible.
It was not accessible.
Even if I would have had a stim or something, it wouldn't matter because I couldn't get back up the ledge. So that was awesome. Sweet.
Yeah, that was super cool. So that bug has not been fixed, but there you go. Let's see. Fix an issue with satchels acquired via heavy weapon crates to equip with 0 out of 8 armor plates available. It should be 8 now. And that is pretty much it.
Yeah.
So pretty small patch, but there you go. So that is it for Warzone as it stands. Very, very good changes. We also have a nice little tweet from Ted Timmons, friend of the pod for sure, who needs to change his profile picture. But tell us about this tweet, Tanner.
Yeah, so we already kind of talked about it, but Ted's the Raven director now in charge of Warzone. He said, as always, the team and I are really interested in the feedback on these changes over the coming weeks. And as the patch notes highlight, this represents a peek behind the curtain of our plans for Season 3. It's going to be a banger. This is like the 5th time he's mentioned Season 3, so I'm expecting big things, Ted. Big things, buddy. Hopefully a perk overhaul. Maybe finally buffing the Vanguard ARs. Of course not. They'll nerf them even more. They'll make the Volk have a smaller magazine than it has now. They'll add more kick to it. But really, though, I'm excited. This is when I'm expecting maybe for us to start getting like some actual map changes as well. Maybe some event happens and something starts changing at some point during Season 3. So either way, it's been in a really solid spot right now. They've been going up lately, only up actually. So I am very excited to see what Season 3 has to bring after all these hints. And you know, also, I really do believe like all these recent upcoming changes are happening largely in part, as you said, because of Warzone's 2 release. At this point, I honestly think Caldera Warzone is like the Vanguard Royale for Warzone 2. They're doing all the testing and everything here, making changes based off of what they're planning on doing going forward. So I think they're making changes that we're going to undoubtedly see in Warzone 2, including like the perk changes. I bet Modern Warfare 2 launches with the perk Ghost, even in multiplayer, and Ghost is only active while moving. I think they're going to make that change in multiplayer. So I think we're going to see a lot of things that Warzone 20 or Modern Warfare 2019 didn't have, and that Warzone has been kind of lacking on. I think going forward, the Warzone 2 added health. I think the time to kill will be about what we're at now with that recent 50 increase. So, yeah, you know, if things continue on the trend, that's just all positive all the way around, because that means the ending life cycle, however much longer Warzone we have, whether that be 9 months, whether that be a year, it's going to be full of fantastic updates all around leading into Warzone 2, which should probably, hopefully, have a really solid launch to it. If they've got all the groundwork figured out, they know what they're going to do, they hopefully know what mistakes they made early on the first time around, and that, you know, they're kind of building a whole new experience from the ground up, and it's going to give us like that same feeling as the OG Warzone did early on.
I agree with everything you said, and I am extremely optimistic for Warzone 2 because of that. Because, yeah, this is definitely a testing ground for Warzone 2. They're trying out all this shit to see how people like it for Warzone 2. And everything that people like, they're going to put in Warzone 2.
Yeah.
And a lot of people agree with our perspective, which is that most of these changes are good changes, meaning they will be in Warzone 2, in addition to hopefully a better client, a better app, a better engine that doesn't crash all the time, that doesn't fry my computer, that's lighter, etc. So I am extremely omega optimistic and excited for Warzone 2 in a way that I have not been ever. The recent changes since Season 2 Reloaded, and even a little bit before, have been just so strong, so good, and it's a good omen, I think, for sure.
Yeah, I agree.
Speaking of other changes to perks we're going to get in Season 3, likely, what other perk changes do we see getting? What do you think they change next? What would be a good thing for them to change? Because I'm thinking they're definitely going to change perks that fucking no one uses. So, for example, Shrapnel. It's a yellow perk. You spawn with, or when you get your loadout, you have 2 lethals instead of 1. That is completely useless in Warzone. I think they'll change that. And if they do, for example, I bet you it increases your max lethal capacity to 3.
Yes, that would make a lot of sense. That would be a really good perk. If stims are the way they are, restock stims with 3. That could be pretty nuts, yeah. That would be a good change. I don't know if
Shrapnel gives you 3 lethals. It might, though. But I know it, or excuse me, tactical.
Oh, yeah, maybe it's, yeah, I think it is just lethals, huh?
I think it is.
Well, they could change it actually, so it does tacticals and lethals. That would be kind of cool, but I don't think if it just changed the lethals to 3 that would ever be worth running. No, I think you have to do both of them.
Yeah, true. But that's like something they could do.
Yeah.
Spotter. It's another yellow perk. I don't even know what this. Oh, this is where you see like enemy kill streaks, but through walls.
Wonder if they could do something like
that in Warzone.
Spotter. You think like marking? Wonder if like when you live ping someone, they stay live pinged like twice as long or something. Again, maybe a positive change, but you know, not probably making the perk better than switching it up and actually running that. But a change like that. Yeah, it's like tracker. How could they make that much better? It'd have to be same thing, longer footprint trail, or just entirely change it. I don't know. So many of these yellow perks are just awful, just really, really bad.
And that, I think, is the most important point to make, is that they will be almost certainly addressing a lot of yellow perks in particular, because those are the worst Warzone perks by far as it stands.
Yeah.
They're going to make them better, but they are almost certainly not going to be worth running anyway. Unless they also nerf the good yellow perks now. Like if they nerf amped and buff fucking tune-up in some way, then maybe tune-up becomes good. But it would have to be on the back of a buff to the shit ones, in addition to, I think, a nerf to the good ones. Mainly, or only, Combat Scout and amped.
Know what I've seen a lot of people talk about, and I like, is a change to kill chain, where it lets you carry 2 kill streaks.
I fucking hate that.
Do you?
Yes, I don't need more clusters and precisions. No, not with how terribly they perform and how many clusters there are. I would lose
that would make the perk a lot better. I don't know.
Yeah.
Again, though, something, would that be worth running over like Cold-Blooded? I don't know. Maybe. It really depends. Because like when it comes to UAVs, this doesn't really matter a whole lot. Well, I guess it does, because like in game, if you have enough money, you can go to a buy and pick up 2 UAVs or something. Yeah. Yeah, that probably would get pretty annoying. Huh.
Yeah. It would make the perk better, though.
It would make it a lot better.
It's an idea.
Yeah.
They could also do it so like you can carry 2 streaks, but they can't be the same type. Like you can't carry 2 of one kill streak, but you can carry like 1 UAV, 1 precision or something. That would be better.
Yeah, that's true. Or just instead of that, because what is it now? Increases it in finding supply boxes, or it could be something like I talked about with Scavenger. Maybe players' bodies have a chance to drop kill streaks that they didn't actually have, and you couldn't hold 2, but you could just find more all around that way, whether it be through the boxes or on people's bodies, something like that.
Yeah, so in addition to the box chance,
but still only
increased,
keep 1. Yeah.
Yeah. That would be better. That'd be less annoying for me. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know though.
Like,
I mean,
go ahead.
Like they've been making a lot of changes lately that no one has expected, and they've been just all good changes. So I kind of just trust them to do whatever at this point. Like the quick fix thing, no one expected that. The ghost, everyone's been asking for a long time, but you know, like restock, things like that. So I think they kind of at this point have figured out what they're doing, and I trust them to be able to know what they want to change in the perks and actually make good choices there.
I agree. Ever since Raven took over, they've been doing a very good job with stewarding Warzone, and they've been improving on top of that.
Yeah.
So I do trust Raven to make, in general, good changes to Warzone that are not going to be too cringe. So I'm excited to see what they do with the perks. Yeah, very curious.
Same.
But there's a lot of room for tweaking, for sure. Because there are a lot of dog shit perks. So we'll keep you guys abreast on that, of course. Also, another patch from Raven. Drastically reduced the chances of the Juggernaut public event on Rebirth Island. Drastically reduced the damage reduction of spawn protection near the ground across Rebirth Island. That's a good those are both good changes. And gas canister spawns reduced across Rebirth Island. So all good changes to Rebirth. Pretty small, but all great for the Islanders. Support that. Well,
can't really say the island anymore because Caldera is also an island. People always say, "Oh, let's drop into the island." Wait, which one are you talking about, bud?
Yeah,
you cocksucker. Which one are you talking about, huh? Fucking asshole. Well, I get that Rebirth is like the OG island, aggro, but I'm aggro about it, man.
You gotta relax, man.
I'm not. I'm getting too hot. I'm getting too hot, as they say. It's always sunny. I got hot way too fast. Yeah, you think?
Okay.
Got hot. I got too hot too fast. Yeah.
Okay. Well, anyway. And we'll edit all of that out, and I apologize.
You don't watch It's Always Sunny, it's fine.
Great show. The weapons trading station is now live on Rebirth Island as well. So we had talked about what this is. A couple updates on what this is, since we've actually used it now. One thing that was not mentioned in their description of the weapon trading station is that when you walk up to it, it will show you what you are going to get prior to trading. It won't be a surprise. So if it's in interact range, it'll tell you what your reward will be for trading in the weapon you're holding. Another thing also is that if you drop in with your 1911 at the very beginning of the game, you could trade that in for an Armaguerra, which is worth doing. So those are a couple things with the weapon trade stations, but they are now live on the island. The Rebirth Island, excuse me. I don't want to get yelled at. So that's cool. I think it works. I think it works fine. I don't think it's overpowered. I don't think it's useless either. I think this is a change that is neat, novel, and it's something people will actually use, but it's not broken either.
Yeah.
So that's good. Fan of it.
Too many specialists out of it, though. You get a lot of specialists out of that weapon trade station, it seems. Just have everyone spawn with specialists at this point on Rebirth, actually. I don't know.
Yeah, specialist is cringe, I agree. And one pro tip Tanner had was if you like kill another team and you're close to a weapon trade station, pick up their loadout gun, trade it at the station, get yourself a nice little streak, maybe a specialist.
Yeah, because they're custom loadouts, so you have a good chance of it. Yeah.
And then go pick your shit up again. So there's another little cute idea you can do. But yeah, I like the weapon trade station. It's a good feature. And then also the communication stations are now in as of last night. So I've not used these yet. I've not even seen them yet. But it's the stationary UAV tower, basically, where you spend an amount of money and you get one UAV sweep on that little thing. How much is the money? How much does it cost? Do you know?
1,500. And it sweeps in a very small area for... I thought it was only going to be like 1 or 2 sweeps, but I think Jay got it tweeted out a little while ago that it sweeps for about 15 seconds, but they're not super fast. It like does a sweep, does another sweep, and it's not a large area. So like there's one on the roof of control. It pretty much is only far enough of a distance to cover like just the control small POI. So it's not a big area. So I think for the price, it's about perfect. It's not going to take over like what a UAV would do, but like late game, if you're at control and you can pop that sucker, that could tell you exactly where the enemies are. So that's cool. It's essentially like it's the same spread, I believe, as like running radar from Modern Warfare multiplayer. Personal radar. Yeah. It's that same size of
that makes sense
of zone. So yeah, I think they're cool. Another great addition again that no one thought of to add to the game, and it adds another dimension to it. Not overpowered, a good price compared to UAVs, and properly balanced. So I like it.
Exactly. I totally agree.
Great
Not
changes.
OP, but worth doing.
Yeah.
In certain circumstances. So yeah, that's very cool. Very cool change. So I'm excited to actually try those because I haven't seen them yet. Yeah. That'll be something worth doing. Tanner and I just haven't been playing much Rebirth because we've been enjoying Caldera so fucking much. Once they finally add the extra 50 health to the island as well, excuse me, the Rebirth Island, we'll play more of it, I think. Yeah. But Caldera's just been so goddamn fun. But there you go.
And of course, those of you that don't want 50 health added to Rebirth, make sure to stop listening to this episode, unsubscribe, unfollow, sign up for yearly Patreon before you do that, though, and then unsubscribe, unfollow, say a bunch of shit to us in Discord, and then leave the Discord. Because, yeah, you're an idiot if you don't want the extra 50 health. It's that simple.
Correct. That is, of course, true. Yeah. Now, on to news and also upcoming changes. Tanner, what do we got here? This is a crazy tweet from Call of Duty, dude.
All right, so since you guys are all so excited to play Vanguard, and I've been just itching to play it, but you haven't bought it yet, even though it's been out for 5 months, now's your chance. The game is free for the next 2 weeks. They should just make it free for the next year and refund everyone who bought it.
They should pay people to play it, yeah.
That's the better option, yeah. But yeah, so for some odd reason you feel like playing Vanguard, I wouldn't necessarily recommend it, but it's free. They don't have an ending. Oh, they do have an ending dates right there, 4/13. Okay. Everywhere they just said 2 weeks, and they've been saying that for like last few days. So there we go. It ends on April 13th if you want to play Vanguard for free. There we go. Don't, but you could.
Yeah,
so,
don't.
There you go.
Yeah. This is, yeah, they want to, I don't know. I don't even know what the purpose of this is. Maybe someone wants to buy it. Someone actually has fun.
They're just begging for people to play it. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, it's that simple. So
absolutely begging people.
Yeah, it's free if you guys want to play it. I don't really recommend it, but
yeah,
there you go.
There we go. Not much. Next thing here is Activision Blizzard has reached a settlement in their asexual harassment trial, one of probably thousands.
One of hundreds of thousands.
One of the hundreds of thousands. So, yeah, they've reached a settlement of $18 million. So that's that. Everyone on Twitter is bitching about it. I don't know what the proper settlement was. I don't think... I don't really know, but here's a little quote from it. Last October, Communications Workers of America filed an objection against the then possible settlement, blah, blah. In the labor union's view, $18 million or $450 per claimant is a drop in the bucket for Activision Blizzard, which paid Bobby Kotick $150 million last year alone, or 2 years ago. So I don't know how they got to this math. Apparently 40,000 people filed a sexual harassment claim at Activision. Even though they have less than 10,000 employees. Not sure how this comes out. Don't really know, but a lot of people care about this. I don't know what to think. But there you go. They reached a settlement in a sexual harassment suit.
I also wish I understood this because I don't understand it. Someone who's a lawyer, please explain what the fuck this means to me. Or if it's just woefully miswritten. In the labor union's view, $18 million or $450 per claimant is a drop in the bucket for Activision. Okay, so if they're paying $450 per claimant out of $18 million, let's do the math on here. 18 million divided by 450 per claimant, right? Would have to mean exactly, as Tanner said, 40,000 claimants. Huh? Because Activision has 9,500 employees. And even if they had 40,000 employees, they're not paying every single one. They weren't all sexually harassed. Maybe they were, but they weren't all claimants. What the fuck does this mean? Where does the other money go? I don't understand.
That's I'm not. So if people are molding about that, I would be molding more about, well, where's the rest of the money going? Because do some quick maths there, buddy. That's not adding up. Is that all going to the lawyers or some shit? I mean, I am not understanding how this works. Because I was thinking maybe they mean per claims. Maybe one person, filed 400 sexual harassment claims, but claimant is a person filing a claim,
correct.
Right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. As Raz and I were talking about this the other day, I'm like, I care more about what happened to the lady that Bobby Kotick said was going to have killed. Hopefully she gets more than $450.
Hopefully she's alive. Yeah.
Hopefully she's still alive these days. Yeah, and Bobby didn't bury her somewhere.
She should get some life insurance for sure.
If you work at Activision in general, I think you should. Yeah. If you're ever within 100 yards of Bobby, I would. Yeah.
And put me as your beneficiary, by the way. Yeah, I don't get it. I don't know what this means, but let's assume each claimant got $450. That's fucking nothing. I mean, you should get paid way more, right? Like, I'm a 25-year-old young woman who works at a frat house trying to make, bundles and operator skins, just getting by 9 to 5. And I'm getting sexually assaulted at work every day for months, probably, allegedly. And I get $450? What is that? Like 4 days of work? You get extra? Like, that's crazy. I don't understand how that's a reasonable settlement to reach, right? Like, this is so weird to me. What is not weird to me is that they settled out of court, by the way, because guess who told you that was going to happen? We did. Duh. But the number is very weird. And you have to agree to the settlement if you're the claimant. Why would they agree to such a small number? Who's in charge of agreeing? Apparently is it like a class action lawsuit?
Well, it says...
So who's like the decision maker? I don't get it. Is
it the labor union? Because it mentioned something about the labor union. That would make sense. So the union keeps 90% of the money and then says, fuck you, you didn't give our clients enough money. And then they give their clients the rest of the pennies.
That could be what happens.
That's how unions are so rich. They just steal everyone's money.
Correct. Yeah, that is, of course, true. Yeah. Yeah, you know what?
Live better, work union.
Reasonable explanation I can think of.
Yeah.
Is that the union just has a little 90% union fee for dealing with it or whatever. Yeah. And then they pay them out. Yeah. I bet you that is what happened.
These unions are more corrupt than the United States government themselves, essentially. So that would make a lot of sense. Yeah. So that's it. They got fucked by their union, probably. We just solved the case. We just absolutely solved the case. There we go. And yeah, in terms of settling out of court, they ended up paying way, way less than what they would have if they had gone to court for 2 years and all sorts of other legal shit. That's why people settle, of course.
And if it went to trial, then the transcripts would be public record. So then we would hear specifics on what happened under penalty of perjury. So that's another big reason for the PR nightmare that would have been. So yeah, for those two, and it would have been more expensive, like Tanner said. Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, there we go. So somehow they're only getting $450. They got 1% of the money, just about. There we go. Next up, or last thing here, I haven't even read this yet, but Charlie Intel tweeted and I put it in here, so we'll read this together. Did this cut it off?
I'll start us off here. The Wall Street Journal has reported that 4 United States senators sent a letter to the FTC I believe is the Federal Trade Commission. So I don't know, Wall Street people, urging them to carefully review Microsoft's acquisition of Activision Blizzard to ensure company culture will improve following acquisition. That's weird.
It's such...
company. Why would the FTC have anything to do with company culture? Very weird. Senators state that if the FTC isn't confident that the company culture improves, okay, then they should oppose the merger.
Such a stupid thing. They're basically saying, make sure there's not cubicle crawls anymore, or we're not going to approve this. It's like, what? How can that even be like a legal thing? Like, yeah, what are you supposed to? It's so stupid. Of course, when you read the people whose names are the senators, then it starts making a lot more sense. Yeah.
Yep. So the 4 senators in the letters to the FTC that were urging them to make sure Activision's culture is cool, man. They are Senator Elizabeth Warren, Democrat, Massachusetts. You might have heard of her. Senator Bernie Sanders, Independent.
Yeah, why does he still go by Independent?
Socialist.
That's insane to me. He's not independent on anything. Anyways, that's just insane to me.
Whatever. Bernie Sanders, Vermont. Some of you might have heard of him before. Cory Booker, Democrat, New Jersey. Famous. And Sheldon Whitehouse, who I've never heard of.
Change that last name. That's a fake last name.
Change both of them, really. Sheldon Whitehouse. Yeah, President Whitehouse.
I gotta look this person up.
Sheldon Whitehouse.
Sheldon Whitehouse.
Democrat, Rhode Island. They have urged FTC Chairwoman Lena Khan to assess whether the planned transaction could exacerbate the flurry of sexual abuse.
This guy's a fake person. There's no way. Even his picture, this guy was like made in a lab. With that name and this guy's face, he's not a real person.
He's a fake person. He's a
There's
lizard
no
person.
way he's a real person. Yeah, he is the most lizard to lizard people. Yeah. Holy shit.
I believe it for sure. Yeah. So cool. The letter urged the FTC to assess whether the planned transaction could exacerbate the flurry of sexual abuse, harassment, and retaliation allegations at Activision stemming from recent federal and state investigations. Okay, fine. I mean, the senators don't give a shit. They're doing this so that they can attach their names to a big news story for voters, which is this. Because this shit has been on like Fox News and MSNBC, the Activision stuff. So they're trying to get, I don't know. I mean, Elizabeth Warren's definitely going to run for president again at some point. Cory Booker as well. They both were in the last Democratic primary race. Yeah. Bernie Sanders will probably be dead by the time that happens, but maybe not. I don't know. But this is unsurprising. And also, I mean, do you think Activision, Blizzard, and fucking Microsoft don't have the FTC chairwoman in their pocket?
Well, it's like, what are they going to say? They're like, no, we're not going to change the company's culture. Fuck you. It's like, literally, it's such a dumb thing to even bring up and say. It's like, well, obviously, they're going to say it's going to change or whatever you guys want.
They're asking the FTC lady who's not Microsoft. So they're hoping the FTC person's objective. Because, yeah, of course, Microsoft's going to say, oh, totally, the culture is going to change XD.
Yeah, XD smile,
but still, it's dumb because the FTC chairwoman, knowing nothing about this, I will say with certainty, the FTC chairwoman is in the pocket of Microsoft. 1,000%.
Yeah.
I mean, knowing nothing about it, barely knowing what the FTC is, I can tell you that that's true. So, anyway, the letter isn't going to do shit. It's just a publicity stunt for these people who are going to be running for president again soon to say, oh, I signed a letter. Vote for me.
Yeah.
I love women and being against sexual harassment.
Yeah.
Which is fine, but I mean, I don't know. Don't congratulate yourself on being a decent human being. Hey, I don't kill 6-year-olds. Congratulate me.
Yeah.
Like, cool, man.
I don't rape women. Hey, I deserve an award for that, right? That's really hard not to do. Like, Jesus Christ.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's just so dumb. So, anyway,
politicians
whatever.
should all be killed, no matter who you are. Just remember that.
In game, of course, yeah. So, anyway, that's that. So, other than that, Tanner, any other fun and exciting news stories to cover?
No.
Got it.
What are we doing for Saturday's app?
Boys and girls. Say again?
What are we doing for Saturday's app?
We're doing an episode.
What do you guys want to do? What do you guys want us to do for Saturday? It doesn't matter. None will give us a even decent suggestion, so forget it. Forget I asked.
I kind of want to talk about Warzone in some capacity. We could just do like the state of Warzone right now, or like maybe a new all about Warzone ep.
Get
like
Aiden
what
on.
You guys should be doing to win in Warzone. I think that could be a good podcast. Get Aiden on. You know what, Jake? We're actually having Donald Trump on Saturday, but we'll be sure to book Aiden.
Let's do a last minute mini roundtable. Get some people on the been playing Warzone.
Yeah, we could do that.
I'm kidding. I don't want anyone on. Fuck you guys. Urban. Yeah, let's get Urban on.
Do that.
People want Urban.
Yeah. So
we don't, but other people do.
I'm done. That's it. Thanks for listening. Yeah. Thanks for watching. Patreon.com/thedropshot is the best way to support the program. We offer 7 bonus episodes a month, monthly hangouts, and more. You can go to thedropshot.com to see links to everything. That's our home, thedropshot.com. Links to the Discord, which you should, of course, join. The Twitter, the YouTube, where there are video versions of the podcast. And, of course, once again, the Patreon. Patreon.com/thedropshot. Best way to support the show. $5 a month. Bonus episodes every month. And we love and appreciate all of our patrons. You guys have been... Some of you have been patrons for a very long time, and you are continuing to allow us to do this production.
Just forgot they're still signed up. They don't
correct. So make sure you keep it on auto renew. That's correct. Yeah. Yeah, they're not listening, so it doesn't matter. So they've been scammed. Join them. Patreon.com/dropshot. Thank you all for listening. Thank you for watching. Have an excellent evening, of course. And as always, remember, stay humble.
Stumble.